Xena Communications brings you this segment of the Sports Narrative radio show, offering customizable network cameras with installation for residential and commercial properties in the greater DFW area. Call or click today to set up your free consultation.
Former NFL wide receiver, drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the 10th round, pick number 253.
Boy,
back when it was 10 rounds, man.
Jamie
It was
Kelly's
12
going to be
rounds.
upset right now.
It
Jamie
was
Kelly is going to be upset that
12
she's missing this.
12.
12 rounds, man.
28 teams.
That's before my draft days. I've only been there since they've been doing 7. So, member of the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, of course, Colts. And then he had to run through some other interesting places there. The Orlando Thunder. You had a few interesting stops there along the way.
I did.
And that's actually where I want to start with you on that, which is the developmental side of the game. When you got a guy who comes into the league, maybe out of a smaller school, like UTA.
UTA.
But a guy who has the talent but needs to develop, and it's something the league really doesn't have.
Right.
You got to learn on the fly in the league, or you're sitting at home. And every year in the draft, we end up talking to different guys. In fact, we had on a guy named Emmanuel Graves. He went to Colorado School of Mines, didn't get drafted, goes to the Canadian Football League, and he's on the Ottawa Red Blacks up there now. And it's an interesting road that they don't have NFL Europe anymore. They don't have some of those places that I know you remember. So,
Right.
What would you like to see in the NFL as far as the development side and letting these players kind of grow up and learn the game that way?
Well, I think they need to probably be more involved with the Canadian Football League, because I see a lot of players making that transition from the CFL to the NFL, because those players are on the kind of on the borderline, so to speak. So if they can definitely be involved with more of the CFL development. Semi-pro teams here in the States are not really qualified to do that. So I think,
they said that Arena League, that's a different game altogether. That
Right.
just seems silly. Now, I liked NFL Europe. I thought they wanted to grow that product over there.
Right.
Do you think that's something that needs to come back, or?
I think so. I think they need to look at it again and to give more opportunity for players, especially players that's 21, 22 in the development stages.
Yep. Now, you were all World League, and you had to make those trips. How was that? How were those flights? How were that travel schedule?
It was fun. The main purpose is to have an opportunity to play football. But mainly, we went to Frankfurt, Germany, Barcelona, Spain, London, and it was really fun back in the day.
Yeah, hey, you'd stamp that passport. That's kind of fun too, right?
Oh yeah. I got a passport from that time, and continue to keep it active.
All right, so being a wide receiver, obviously, even with the Giants, catching some passes for Phil Simms.
Right.
Can you tell me what a catch is today?
Well, it's a little bit.
It's a
different.
big question here in Dallas.
Well, it's a little bit different, but I think they should have qualified theirs as a completion, because he controlled the ball, even though it was moving while he was made contact with the ground. But I think that rule was still ruled out this past week or two with the referees. But definitely a catch. I think they definitely need to continue to look at that rule.
Yeah, I think so too. It's the game has become so fast and so big,
right?
And it's difficult to check. One of the other elements to that is there's talk now about putting a chip in the football and having something that's obviously just for kicking right now, but
right.
Dean Blandino still says it isn't a catch, so I don't think a chip's going to fix that.
Yeah, chip probably ain't going to fix that. That's for sure.
Dean's not a popular guy in this town, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, it's all about controlling the ball when you catch it, when you make contact with it, and that rule is still iffy with the NFL, and they need to really look more in depth about it.
And they did say that they brought in several current and former wide receivers,
right,
and tried to review it. And I get it, man. It's a hard sport. possibly the hardest sport to officiate.
Right.
So
right.
It is what it is right now. We're 2 years away. I didn't.
But what do you think about younger referees?
I think experience is kind of key there. So it depends on how young.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. And what's the background?
There should be an age cap on this?
It might be an age cap because it's a fast-paced game.
Right.
So you got to have good eyes, good coordination.
Because some of those referees that are actually known as good referees,
and they're old,
that have that respect, they're 50 plus.
Right.
Because they've been in the league.
Right.
Maybe they started in high school, went to college.
Right.
Maybe even did a little Canadian football, whatever. But you know what I mean? You move up the ranks.
Right.
I just think that, especially in the NFL, which is the echelon of sports right now,
right,
you need the best of the best.
Yeah,
officiating that game.
Absolutely. Like you have the best football players on the football field, you need to have the best referees out there as well.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, when you were drafted in the 10th round, were you watching that thing, or did you just get a phone call and just sitting by the phone and wait for the phone call?
It was a one-day draft process. I got a call about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, actually, and I was at UTA and went, ate dinner, and came back, and they called me, and Coach Barkstar was on the phone and said, Byron, we want you to be a part of the Packers. So went to be a part of the Green Bay Packers back in '83, Elway Marino draft class.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
It's a hell of a draft class.
Now, UTA, obviously they got rid of football.
Right.
Supposed to be coming back, though, from what I understand.
It's going to be hard to come back. But,
Yeah.
Now, we had a program here just the last couple of years at UAB that they disbanded football and then they brought it back. It's with the college sports and just what's the demand on a student athlete, if you can remember how it was when you were, having to, playing those games and traveling and trying to get your degree and all that stuff.
Right. Well, I see it now more of a business with collegiate. Back then, it was a part of we had a real off season. Now it's year-round football.
Yeah,
and it's about the best players being the best at all time, even in off season.
Yep. So
you're highly, you're highly rated, even in the springtime. So it's a lot of pressure on players now. Back then we could relax a little bit and have a true off season, but now it's year-round. You got to be in top shape. I mean, the media and Twitter and all that, the social media, is really putting pressure on the game of athletes.
Absolutely. You think they need to get paid?
They do. They do need to get paid because it's a job.
How do you think you regulate that?
I think just based on financial needs of players and their families, and also the requirement of how much money each college is getting from sponsors. So I think that's a big part of it.
I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah, I think so too. And you can have the different leagues or different conferences kind of figure out what there is, and
right.
Yep.
And for the smaller schools, obviously like at UTA they had football, but like North Texas where you and I went, Dustin. Hey, maybe they can't pay them, and that obviously it's going to give the competitive advantage.
Give them Division II or do whatever you got to do.
Right.
But
right.
level the playing field across the board for the schools that can afford it, and again, man, help these guys out because most of them aren't going to get a pro payday check.
Exactly right, and I absolutely reverse back to thinking that when you're 18 to 22, that's the best time of your life. So make it really fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, when you were at UTA, did you think you'd be getting an NFL paycheck?
I knew my sophomore year the scouts were coming around, and hey, they called my name out to come out and worked out. So that really inspired me and motivated me. So I knew I had the potential and the possibility. So with that being said, I just kept just staying focused on trying to be fast, trying to be the best athlete on the football team.
There you go. Byron Williams here joining us on the Sports Narrative Show. Wide receiver, and of course, I think the team that you draw the most allegiance to in the Giants. What was it like to get coached by Bill Parcells?
Man, he was fun in the locker room. Back in the day, Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson came up with the nickname Tuna, and that name stuck.
Yeah, it did.
But he was fun. He was really fun in the locker room.
Well, I believe when he was in Dallas, there was a week where the players came in and there were rat traps hanging from the ceiling, and his thing was "Don't eat the cheese."
Okay.
What was the craziest thing that he did? The most memorable thing to get you guys ready for game day?
Well, he came in at halftime, and man, he got on us. I forgot what game it was, but man, we came out and played a spectacular second half. And you can always remember his great speeches and the things that he say sticks. And you know,
most of them you can't say on the radio, though, right?
Right, I can't say that. but I can say that he didn't play. If he told you something, you better believe it. If you say you got 1 day to prove that you can play on this team, you got 1 day. so that's what you love about Bill. You know, he was always to the point.
All right, what's your most memorable on-field moment?
Well, I always playing the Cowboys. I enjoyed growing up here in Texas and always coming home. Either playing them up in New York. You know, that was very challenging. And of course, I had highly respect for Coach Tom Landry. So, you know, you grew up watching the Cowboys, being a kid that grew up here in the state, and I had a couple of good moments playing the Cowboys.
Nice. And I think, given that your record of playing in Green Bay, Philly, and New York, what's the coldest game you ever played in?
The coldest game was in 1985.
Oh, see, he knows that immediately. Hey, no question.
46 below. The year that the Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl. So it was 46 below. It was cold.
Oh, man. My gosh.
That is something. Can you even feel the ball at that point?
Well, I can tell you, when you spit, the ball it would freeze before it hit the turf.
Oh, so, man.
You're just probably hoping necessarily they don't even throw you the ball that game, right? Because it had to sting a little bit when it hit the hands.
It was a cold game, I tell you.
Now, did you do special teams? You do everything like that?
I didn't do a whole lot of special teams, but every now and then I would do like kickoff or kickoff return. But when I did kickoff, I was the safety guy. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're not taking the big hits. That's always good.
Right.
They don't necessarily like to do that with wide receivers, have you guys take big hits in plays that don't involve the offense, correct?
185 pounds, man. We can't take them big hits.
Kind of a position you need them to stay healthy. That's always made me nervous when Dez was out returning punts.
Absolutely.
Broke his foot that one time doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Byron Williams here, and a little birdie just told me from Texarkana, Texas. I'm supposed to ask you about high school.
I just did my 22nd Byron Williams football camp a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, high school was very challenging back in the day.
Yeah?
I had to run 50 miles.
50 miles. What's that about?
I got caught drinking beer.
Oh. In Texarkana, that never happens.
Hey man, got caught drinking beer and had to run 50 miles at my high school. You had to run 50 miles in order to play football.
Wow.
So.
Man, that's rough.
You can't get away with that today, I don't think.
You know, there's another guy who's a guy in the league, Ryan Mallett.
Oh, yeah, Ryan is from Texarkana.
Yep, also from Texarkana. Also,
we didn't have a gas station nearby.
Oh, man. Man, that's something.
But Ryan Mallett, yeah, man, he's from Texas High.
Yep.
Went to Arkansas.
Yep.
Well, went to Michigan first, then came to Arkansas. And but Ryan is one of the students that came to my football camp back when he was a little bitty boy.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's cool to see guys like that, and then they come up and.
LaMichael James was another kid. Trey Carson, who just left A&M with Cincinnati Bengals. So we have had a lot of young guys start off being a little youngster on running up and down the football field, and now we see them playing in the NFL.
That's awesome, man.
With your camp, what do you hope is the biggest takeaway that the kids playing have when they're done?
Running that 50 miles. First thing you do, run 50 miles.
But mainly, we don't have Tony Dorsett, some of the great guys, Everson Walls. One thing that we ask the kids to take away is be a complete student athlete, meaning that you do what you need to do in the classroom as well on the football field.
Now, to that end, you've been you're kind of a manager for a lot of players too, and helping them out here in the league, right?
Right. I'm currently the president of NFLPA Dallas chapter, and about benefits and health related issues, concussions, protocol. Very on point on getting information to all 600 and so former players here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Nice.
Wow.
And, and that's one of the things we were talking about earlier about, being able to not only touch the former players,
right,
but getting those current players out here. So, as I said, they can see those guys that are, on the crutches, or they can see those guys that are dealing with those stuff so that they can make good choices today.
Right. One of the greatest things happened last year was I was called to meet all of Dallas Cowboy players to let them know about our Dallas chapter, because one day the current players will be former players, and let them know what we're doing in the community for its charity events and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and that's important. And hey, you know what? I think this is a great event. It's nice. We were saying earlier, the camaraderie of the locker room and that brotherhood that you build. It's like a veteran. It's like a VA.
Right.
All the veterans guys can get together and talk about the old stories and help each other out, so you don't have incidents. Those tragic incidents like Junior Seau and those guys that just they lose touch.
Andre Waters.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
that was,
exactly right. Yeah. And one thing that we all have in common in the locker room, we're all trying to do aim for the same common goal, and that's to win games and to be winners on and off the football field.
That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right.
Was it you that said earlier that this is one of the most exclusive fraternities? Or was
It
that
is.
Larry? Yeah.
Yeah, like Larry Sanders said it, but Larry and I coached Larry Sanders a little bit.
There you go.
As well as Lorenzo Lynch, as well as Dante Wesley. I'm the old head.
There he
You've
is
done
right
a
there.
Darn good job, because
Yeah.
it's been great.
East
Yeah.
Texas
We've had a
boys,
blast.
it's really good for each generation to come back and give a little bit of their time and knowledge of what we need to do to move the ball forward on the football field.
There you go. And I'm sure you talk to Odell Beckham Jr. and tell him how to catch that one-handed pass. You show him how to do that?
Well, my name was mentioned with Odell Beckham a couple of months ago.
It was.
Yeah, back-to-back rookies, wide receivers for the Giants, over 100-yard receiving. So
How about
That's
that?
pretty good company, right?
Yeah, so
Pretty good
I'm
company for him.
happy to have my name mentioned with Odell.
I was going to say, what's real cool is we got two guys here that were on the Tecmo Bowl game. Tecmo Super Bowl and Tecmo Bowl. That's how we remember that. So that's kind of cool too.
Hey, that $20, the $60 NES is coming out, and it's got Tecmo Ball on it. I'll
There
be
it
first
is.
in line, man.
There it is, and you can use that guy right there, Byron Williams, to catch a pass or two.
Now,
There it is.
Oh man, thanks for popping on with us. Thanks for having us out here. Yeah,
I'd
got
like
something
you have an event in August coming up.
Oh, yeah,
that,
absolutely.
By the way, that KTSR will be at.
Yeah, we
promote that.
we have an event in August. We also doing stuff with Dante Wesley here in Dallas, but we
Right.
also doing something with the owner of this radio station at the Super Bowl.
Yes,
We're gonna be down
we will be down in Galveston.
We will
ladies
be
and
in
gentlemen.
Galveston at Moody Garden golf tournament, and the owner of the company, Chris, been calling me and emailing me, and so I'm excited. I'm excited about what we're gonna do in the next 3 or 4 months.
Hey man, that sounds awesome, and
Awesome.
thanks for letting us be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And like I said, great event, and we hopefully we'll be talking a whole lot to you real soon.
All right, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
All right.
Very
okay,
much.
okay.
There he goes.
Find more by subscribing to this channel and visiting us at www.thesportsnarrative.com. Join us every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central for a live edition of The Sports Narrative Show, brought to you by Xena Communications and G&K Services.